Chaplain Karen Moore here to bring you another episode of Mind, Body, and Soul. We have been building upon these different steps of how we can control our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors. By understanding who we are, we can make these small steps to make mighty change and to develop behavioral habits after doing them over and over, changing our very synapses in our brains from a negative to a positive. It's incredible what we can accomplish because we are created in a unique way in order to help benefit others. But part of understanding others, after we have identified and understood our own self, is to be able to trust other people. Now, there's not a single person who's listening to this, or out in the world for that matter, who hasn't gone through a time period when trust was brutally broken. We need to be compassionate and sensitive to that. And we need to be mindful of the things that have broken our trust, because even though that trust was broken way back then, we don't want to imply that broken trust onto somebody else, because they don't deserve that. They deserve to have a fresh start. So being mindful of ways that you have had trust broken and analyzing them and then working through them. So this is a mindfulness training. For instance, if I have had a bad time with, let's say, driving a stick shift car, and my trust is broken with stick shift cars because every time I would throw it into a gear and it would grind and panic would just set in, and then, oh my gosh, going up a hill in a standard car for the first time is terrifying, right? Because you're rolling back and you got to floor it and just stuff is going wrong. I now can't go into another vehicle, an automatic, and approach it the same way. Why? Because it's different. It deserves to operate the way it's supposed to operate. So I emotionally disengage that fear that I had of rolling back, of grinding gears, of not being able to push in the clutch at the right time, and I go into it and it automatically works, giving that vehicle the craftsmanship in everything that it encompasses that vehicle, and I allow it to do what it does. And in the meantime, I'm releasing all of the anxiety because I can trust this new car. I can trust that it will get me to where I go. Trust is a hard thing, but when we use mindfulness, we can give the benefit of doubt to other people. Now, in some situations, trust was brutally and abusively broken. Take the time today to acknowledge that. If something scares you, if something is triggering, stop, analyze, breathe through that. You're not in that situation anymore. That person that was resembling that person who may have hurt you doesn't deserve to have that amount of judgment on them. You're going to be okay. Seek out some help from professionals, behavioral health, chaplains, counselors, but re-engage that trust, giving the other person a benefit of doubt. Because when we understand who we are, and even when that broken past comes to light, we're extending grace to ourselves as well as to the other people. Because without that, a relationship can't form. It's a lot to think about, and this is kind of a heavier episode. But as you're figuring out who you are, and you're applying that mindfulness, just every time that trigger comes in, that sense of broken trust rolls out, be fair and gracious to the individual who had nothing to do with that situation. Who knows? Maybe together you guys could accomplish huge things. Yeah, set up some safety parameters. It's going to be okay. We're here to help. But imagine how awesome your life, your quality life is going to be by acknowledging that, learning something new, getting to know somebody who's great. This is Chaplain Karen Moore with Mind, Body, and Soul. Caring more about you. Have a blessed day.